It's a bummer. It's a heartbreaking moment when you realize your favorite restaurant or brewery is saying, calling it quits. There's crushing inflation, labor shortages, slim profit margins, all of that. Eateries and things that have been in business for many years are now closing their doors. The specific reasons vary, but the causes are familiar. Joining us to take kind of a deeper dive on the restaurant industry is Chris Rourke, managing editor of the Denver Business Journal. We were talking about this. It's like all kinds of restaurants we're seeing and hearing about. And usually it is that family-owned restaurant sometimes that we're like, no, after 35 years or something.
It's really true. And I talked to a lot of restaurant owners this week, and I also spoke to the Colorado Restaurant Association. I'm going to surprise you. The restaurant industry is actually expanding. It's expanded 3% between 2019 and 2021. We're talking the pandemic time. And that's only a little bit off of what it was doing before the pandemic. I talked to Colorado Restaurant Association, who said that in Denver, about 200 restaurants open a year in the Denver metro area.
Ooh, okay.
About 100 close. So it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Is it divisible by, you have chains that have strength, in their backbones. You have things like Casa Bonita, which is going to have this huge influx, it seems like. And then there are the smaller restaurants. Are they the ones who really pay the price? Is it tougher for them than it is for the big chains?
Well, you would think so because they don't have that support.
Yeah. What
I learned is inflation is absolutely crushing restaurants. When you talk about food costs and you talk about, the rent and the utilities and those little styrofoam containers, they're not getting any cheaper.
Right.
No.
And so the other thing that you have is labor. Either labor shortages or labor expenses are going up about 20% since the pandemic.
Oh, I can hear the hail on the roof here.
I'm not leaving.
A little distracted.
I'm not leaving.
Don't leave yet. When you talk about those things, though, among those many things, also some have adapted well during the pandemic. When you mentioned that, some really jumped in and said, "Okay, we can make sure that we can be that place you're going to go and pick up your food, and it's going to be like nothing others." Is it part of that business model too? They have to change.
Yeah, and they have done that. In fact, when I talked to the Colorado Restaurant Association, they provided me with some of the surveys that they do, and there was a survey from December 2022, just about 6 months ago, and the reflections were really interesting. About 77% have had to change their menu prices, have had to up the price. 50% have cut hours, 37% said that they are no longer going forward with expansion plans. About a third have cut staff, and then 27% said that they're not going to do any hiring anytime soon.
It's a tough job.
Tough times too. Anything reflecting as far as how Colorado restaurants are doing versus the nation? Are we doing better or worse?
Well, it's a nationwide problem, especially when inflation is a nationwide problem.
Yep.
Until we see, and I don't know that we're going to see lower costs, so it's going to be those restaurants that do adapt. Kim, you brought up the point about family restaurants. Those are the ones that tend to last for generations. In fact, one of the restaurants I spoke to this week, they're passing the business on to the kids. The kids love it, and that's why people stay in the business, because they love it. They said to me, we grew up as restaurant kids, and we just want to keep going.
But that doesn't always happen. It's like passing on the family farm.
Not everybody wants. I want to go live in the city.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens, but these are tough times.
Yeah.
And restaurateurs tend to be tough people, so hopefully they can do well.
Yeah, be kind to your restaurant owners.
That's it. We'll see what happens when Casa Bonita opens.
Yes.
That's all I know. Okay, thanks, Chris.
Chris with the Denver Business Journal joining us again.